Hello, today I'm going to show you how to use the Chompsaw. This device allows for ages 5 and up to cut cardboard safely. To start, make sure your Chompsaw is on a flat, clean surface. If it's not already plugged in, the cord should be underneath the lid. Just use the cutouts on the side to lift it up. The lid itself has two sides, one for inches and the other for centimeters, according to what you need. And here's your cord. Now that you have the cord, you can connect it to the device. The DC jack to plug in the power supply is located at the back of the Chompsaw, right here. The power switch to turn on the Chompsaw is on its right side. Press the line to turn it on and the circle to turn it off. When you turn it on, a light should appear around the switch and you'll be able to hear the cutting head activate, like so. At the front of the Chompsaw, there is a drawer that collects your cardboard chippings. The chippings should be discarded once they reach the bottom of the Chompsaw logo, or every 30 minutes. To do this, pull the drawer out from the bottom. Once the chippings have been disposed of, just slide the drawer back in place and make sure it's pushed all the way in. If it's not pushed all the way in, the power switch will be blinking and the cutting head won't run. Before you start cutting with the Chompsaw, make sure your cardboard is thin enough to feed into the cutting head. Maximum thickness is 3 millimeters thick or 2 pennies stacked on top of each other. If your preferred piece is too thick, you can always flatten it with the scoring tool along where you want to make cuts, or press it down in some other way. Also, make sure that there are no tape or stickers on your cardboard, as the residue could cause a jam. So as you can see here, I do have a sticker, so I'm just going to remove that real quick before I start cutting. Now that my board is all clean, we'll try making a cut with the Chompsaw. To do this, you're going to want to use 2 hands to feed the cardboard into the cutting head. It's important to push parallel with the markings on the cutting mat. Don't try and push from side to side, as the saw only cuts in one direction. And don't use too much force when feeding the Chompsaw, or it could slide around. Now let's try this. If you want to change directions while you're cutting, just rotate your piece and then continue cutting. The Chompsaw comes with some useful tools. The first of those being the hole punch tool. Hole punch tools help the most with internal cuts, though they can also be used for creative purposes. On the tooltip are ridges with corresponding numbers. The larger the number, the bigger the hole. To make an internal cut, you would need to make your hole a size 9 and drill all the way down. Just hold the tool like a screwdriver and twist it into the cardboard where you want your hole. Twisting is important, as jamming the tool can make a crater as opposed to a clean hole. The hole will look cleaner if you drill from the other side as well and pick off remaining cardboard pieces. So, if this is the side that I want shown, I'm all good. Our second tool is the scoring tool, which helps make folds in the cardboard, flatten thicker cardboard for cutting, and separate cardboard layers. Just hold the tool in your hand like a pencil and gently press the tip into the surface of the cardboard. Pull it along the surface where you want to make your cut or fold, and it'll make a line. And don't push down too hard like I did right now, or else your cardboard will puncture. When you're done, you can fold that line or cut on it if your cardboard is a little too thick. If you want to separate cardboard layers, just insert your tool into the holes on the side of the cardboard and slide the tool gently from side to side so that the layer starts to come up. The Chompsaw also comes with guides that make the cutting process easier when it comes to cutting straight, even pieces, cutting angles, and making perfect circles. The Fence guide helps with cutting even pieces and straight lines. To attach it, you would just place the two knobs on the bottom into the two parallel slots on the left side of the Chompsaw. So you can slide it around like this. And there are two holes that you could screw in the attached screw that comes within it. If you screw into the inside hole right here, it can cut from 1/4 to 2-inch widths. If you place it in the outside hole, it can cut to 2 to 3.5-inch widths. I want a 2-inch width, so I'll place it on the inside hole and just kind of lightly screw it in so I can adjust, but it stays in place. And then I'll take it all the way out right here, and then I'll just screw the screw all the way down. So now it's in place. Now that it's in my desired position, I'm going to take my cardboard, I'm going to use this other half, and I'm just going to place it right here while I'm cutting. I'm just going to hold it against the edge as I go all the way up, and it's going to make a nice even piece. There you go. Now here we have our angle guide for making angled cuts. To use it, you're just going to line up the bottom of the guide with the vertical slot that goes all the way across the lid. On the cutting mat, there are angle lines that are in 15-degree increments and show what angle the angle guide would be set to. To find out what angle it is set to, you're just going to move it up and sort of see which one it aligns with the best. Now, it seems that right now we have a good 60-degree angle, but I think that I want to make the angle a little bit smaller, so I'm going to try and adjust the angle guide to be 45 degrees. To do that, I'm going to separate the pieces of the angle guide by pushing my thumb into this hole right here and separating the top and the bottom. And now I'm going to turn it a little bit and try and see if I can adjust for a 45-degree angle. Okay, now that I have my 45-degree angle, I'm going to take my cardboard and I'm going to place it in on top of the angle guide, the top edge, and then I'm going to turn on the Chompsaw and then move them both pieces upwards so that I can get a nice angle. Right. And here's my angled cut. If I want to have a bigger piece, I can also align it with the bottom edge of the angle guide, like so. That doesn't make too much of a difference, but it is a bit of a wider, longer angle. So let's move on to our next piece. To make a perfect circle, I can use the circle guide right here. There are two sides to the circle guide. One shows what the diameter of the circle would be in centimeters, and the other shows what it would be in inches. The pointed nubs on both sides are where the center of the circle will be. Now, you would place the edge of your cardboard on the side of the cutting head, and then you would put your circle guide on top at the number where that would be what you want the diameter of your circle to be. So I think that I want a 4-inch diameter, so I'm going to place it on top of the cutting head where 4 inches would be at, and then I'm going to lightly puncture my cardboard with the circle guide. And then I'm going to apply a good amount of pressure to the pivot point on my cardboard, and then feed the material into the cutting head by rotating the cardboard about the pivot point, like so. And there I have a perfect circle. There are a couple other methods you can use to get a circle. If you don't want to start at the cardboard's edge, you can always just feed the cardboard into the head up to the point where you want your circle, and then rotate your piece so that the line of the cutting head would be tangent to the circle's edge. So, like so. Then I would take the circle guide and proceed as normal. And here is our circle. If you want an internal circle, you would use your drilling hole to make a hole slightly away from the center of your circle. You go right here. You would drill all the way down to the base so that your hole will be able to fit over the cutting head. So now that I have my hole, fit it perfectly over the cutting head, I'm going to turn on the saw and I'm going to cut up to the edge of my internal circle. I didn't need to cut very far, but now I'm going to rotate it so that it's tangent to the edge of my circle. And I'm going to proceed with the guide as normal. So place it there because that's where the middle of my circle is. All right. Now I have an internal circle. And as you may have guessed, making all of the lines beforehand was really helpful to being able to cut the circle the way that I wanted it to come out. Hopefully this tutorial has been helpful for you. Information for this tutorial was sourced from the Chompsaw website linked below and is a helpful resource if any additional clarification is needed.